Welcome. Good morning. I am Rachel May, and I use she, her pronouns. I serve this congregation as worship associate, and I am leading this morning's service. Welcome to our special place. We welcome especially those joining us for the very first time. We live stream our services on YouTube, and our recordings are then saved on our UUCQC YouTube channel. If you don't want to appear in our recordings, you can sit under the owl's nest by the bookshelves. We invite everyone to join us downstairs after service for coffee, snacks, and conversation. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Sabrina Trupia, and my pronouns are they and them, and I serve this congregation as the part-time minister. Before we begin, I wanted to thank you all for your thoughtful thoughts and gifts and memorial gift and all your condolences and thoughts when my mom passed. Your generosity and kindness has moved me, and I am deeply grateful. Thank you so much, everybody. And now, our call to worship is by Reverend Michelle Collins. Here we are together, bearers of imagination, creators of new worlds, It is our imagination that lifts us beyond despair, that whispers, "What if?" and dares us to answer. Today we gather to renew that spark, to embrace the power to dream. So come, let us imagine boldly and worship together. Now, as Rachel lights our chalice, let's all recite our chalice lighting words. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to inspire. Please rise and embody your spirit for our opening song, This Joy, which is the insert in your order of service. And now it's the time when we greet the holy in our midst by briefly greeting those around us, especially those we don't know.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, I know we have some more children. Who's going to help me with our story today? All right, everyone say. Okay. So I've got a box right here. I wonder what's in this box. Well, the theme of the month is imagination. So today we're going to use what's in this box and our imaginations to create a story together. So what I'm going to do, let's see, we've got some cards. We've got some cards in here. So I'm going to have some of you grab a card. Grab one. Don't tell us what it is yet. I don't think I know what it's at. Abby, can you come behind me? Tell her what she got. You want that? You really want that purple one? All right, and I've got 2 more cards for 2 adults. Any adults want to? All right. So look at your cards. Okay, so look at your cards. And I'm going to have, let's see, who wants to start our story? Okay, Kailani. You want to start? Can you come up? Let's see. Oh. Kailani's card says climbed. So who wants to help Kailani start? What climbed? A butterfly? Okay, so the butterfly climbed up the milkweed stalk. If you have an idea, raise your card up. To get to the space station. Oh, so at the space station, the butterfly met the astronaut. Oh, the astronaut. Flew. The astronaut ran as he flew in the air. Yup, he had to get a running start. He ran as he flew in the air, and right, exactly. And he bumped into the princess. Oh no, all right, well, what happened to the princess after the astronaut bumped into her? Oh, the princess was on her way to church. So then she invited the astronaut to join her at church with the butterfly. And they all went to church and had a wonderful time. Are we ready to go downstairs?
Good morning. The key word is, we did it. If you'll notice our puzzle, it's complete with the gold completion piece. So our match challenge has been met and our goal of $245,000 has been achieved. The last puzzle piece is completed. As of Friday, our 2025 pledge total was $187,859 from a total of 89 pledge units. As of Friday, the donations to the match challenge equaled $33,285. That, with the $30,000 match, brings it to $63,285. Hooray. Thank you very much. So together, the pledge drive plus the mass challenge amounts to $251,138. We have met the challenge, completed our puzzle, reached our goal of putting our congregation on a solid financial footing for next year. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And thank you, John, for endlessly changing the spreadsheets. It's a necessary thing. Good news. That counts as a joy, but we come together as a community to share the joys, the concerns, the sorrows, and the milestones of our lives. At this time of sharing, we take a moment to read your entries in the Book of Joys and Sorrows, located on the table at the entrance of the sanctuary. Pastoral care has a sorrow. Janice Bybee, a longtime member, died May 8th at Senior Star. A celebration of life will be at 12 noon, June 1st, right here. More details will be in the newsletter. Tom LaJudas has a sorrow about the situation in Gaza and Palestine. And Miriam beat me to the punchline because her sorrow is about the tornado that was in St. Louis. That also hit a religious community that I wasn't part of, Centennial Christian Church, but a lot of my classmates in seminary were. So hold them in your hearts. And do we have anything online? No, ma'am. Not ma'am. And now the sorrows. The joys. Sorry. So the first joy, the first joy was John saying that we did it, and I think that needs to be celebrated again. And Ken Hill says his brother Merlin, a former member of this congregation, is visiting from Oregon, and he's here with his daughter Holly, who lives in New Zealand. And he adds, life is good. Isn't it though? Yeah? Hi! How's New Zealand? And Diane and Hannah Harrington want to thank everybody that came to their bridal shower and or wished them well in their marriages. Special thanks to Anne-Marie and Jan for organizing it. It was a lovely celebration. Thank you. I think there's more on the other page. So many pages. Again, from Tom LaJudas, that his son is coming to visit for 4 days from Oregon. Yay. And Alice Traylor and Karen Crouch, are you guys here? Go? Yeah. Want to thank the UU community for the gifts for this month's community meal. They served 75 people at Zion Lutheran this past Thursday. 75 people. That's not nothing. Thank you. And is there anything online? No, ma'am. For what has been shared and for what remains in the quiet sanctuary of our hearts, we are grateful. Today I thought I'd do a pastoral prayer. Dear God of many names and of no name at all, Spirit with a capital S, infinite creative energy of the universe, boundless vast nothingness, we are grateful for your imagining us. Or maybe we are grateful for our own imagination. May we continue to imagine a better future for all, a better life, a future anyway, a distinct possibility, the hope of things that are not yet, and yet things that might be. May we never grow tired of imagining or stuck on something we deem unimaginable or unfathomable. Yes, may we always be able to fathom. After all, someone imagined us into being. And so, if we were imagined, we too are capable of imagination. And imagination is the spark of hope that made us and you in each other's image. Amen. And now let us become aware of the energy that brings us together here in beloved community. As we share a time of silent meditation, may we open our hearts and minds to a place of quiet and engage in silent prayer for the healing of pain and the balm of love. When the musical meditation begins, you're invited to come forward in silence and light a candle.
This congregation is a theologically diverse religious community with membership open to all who are in accord with our values, mission, and vision. Our congregation is entirely self-governed by the democratic process. One of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide all of the financial support for our many ministries from among ourselves. Generosity, therefore, is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and institutional well-being. This month's undesignated plate offering will go towards the UUCQC Community Meal, which is the UUCQC's longest living social outreach activity. The community meal happens every 8 weeks and is currently coordinated by Karen Crouch and Alice Traylor. We invite you now to participate in the blessing of giving as the ushers come among you to accept the gifts of the congregation. Please be as generous as you are able. For all the gifts of time and treasure that you give to this congregation, with sincere gratitude, we thank you. Today's reading is a spoken word piece by American poet, jazz musician, and author Gil Scott-Heron. It is entitled Whitey on the Moon, and it was released in 1970 at the height of the space race between America and the Soviet Union. This poem recounts the experience of Black people around that time. A white person reciting these verses might seem hypocritical at best and exploitative at worst, even though we all want to know is to lift up this experience. Reverend Aisha Ansano wrote about singing, or in our case, speaking words that don't reflect our experience. She says we need to speak them with intentionality. We need to feel the discomfort that these words reflect. We need to know that these words still reflect what is going on today in America for Black people. In that spirit, I now give you Whitey on the Moon. A rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay no doctor bills, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. The man just upped my rent last night 'cause Whitey's on the moon. No hot water, no toilets, no lights, but Whitey's on the moon. I wonder why he's upping me, 'cause Whitey's on the moon. Well, I was already giving him $50 a week with Whitey on the moon. Taxes taking my whole damn check, junkies making me a nervous wreck. The price of food is going up, and as if all that shit wasn't enough, a rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arm began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. Was all that money I made last year for Whitey on the moon? How come I ain't got no money here? Whitey's on the moon. You know, I just about had my fill of Whitey on the moon. I think I'll send these Dr. Bill's airmail special to Whitey on the moon.
Thank you, Rachel. So I got a confession to make. I'm being real vulnerable here. I've never been fascinated by space travel or space exploration. I am of a generation where if I try to recall my earliest memories, I see an old-timey, possibly black and white television with images from Apollo missions, moon landings, first steps on the moon, capsules splashing back into the sea, the ocean. And you know, all the other kids really got into it, and I didn't. I can remember crying when space stuff appeared on TV or was discussed. And, you know, later on in my life, my peers maintained the same excitement of discovery with the space shuttle's adventures or misadventures. But I wasn't excited, really. All of that scared me, still does. I mean, think of all the accidents that there have been, the close calls, also the stupid reasons why those accidents happen, especially the Challenger disaster. Totally preventable. And of course, very recently, the thing that really sent me into metaphorical orbit was that the two astronauts that were stuck in the International Space Station for 9 months while they had gone there for just a week. Can you imagine? Yikes. And also, by the way, I don't know how many of you have done this. I had the opportunity to lay down in one of those Apollo capsules where the astronauts were at some kind of a science exhibit. I don't remember where it was. And I kind of thought, you know, it's good exposure therapy. Let's do it, you know, kind of. But it didn't work. I'm still afraid. It was worse. So what's wrong with me? Do I lack imagination for not wanting to engage this literally unearthly topic? And also, is it not contradictory, if not downright hypocritical of me to like things like Star Trek The Next Generation or Futurama or David Bowie, who sings about space in songs like Space Oddity and Starman? What's that about? We're going to get into it because this is not necessarily about me and my fears. It's a little bit about me and my fears, but this month's Soul Matters topic, as Tiffany said, is the practice of imagination. And I wanted to speak to what passes for imagination these days and what imagination is if we fold in the fact that the imagination carries with it the values we want to live into and we want to uphold. And so, let's start trying to reconcile my fear of actual space exploration with my liking related popular culture. But spoiler alert, we will not be assuaging any of my fears. I'm just, at this age, scared of space. This discussion will end up being about our collective moral imagination. You may have guessed that. So why do I like Star Trek? That's easy, because Star Trek, by and large, has this idea that space travel is already all figured out. They're able to teleport, everything seems safe, there's no inherent danger with the basics of space travel. They're all well understood. And under those conditions, why wouldn't I want to go into space? I take planes, after all. In Star Trek The Next Generation specifically, the focus is social commentary in each episode. It's kind of like The Love Boat, if The Love Boat had serious social commentary and was set in outer space. So totally not like The Love Boat. And so to me, these stories are about our moral imagination, not the fantasy of going into space, because it's very, easy to be in space for them. Futurama, if you don't know, it's created by Matt Groening that made The Simpsons. It's another animated series, which has a more rickety sense of space. People still break down. They abandon robots for thousands of years in unknown planets, but it's funny. And it's also about an imagined future, 1,000 years from now, which points directly at today's society and our foibles. It's satire. And so that's also, to me, a form of moral imagination of a different flavor. What about David Bowie? Well, David Bowie is a big theologian. His song addressed the big, big questions in life in a very different way that other musicians do. He uses space and cosmological imagery as metaphors, in a lot of songs. And of course, he wrote many songs with this imagery, not just Starman and Space Oddity, which I want to focus on today. In fact, one of his last songs in his last album, Black Star, is a meditation on mortality. And it's not really about a literal celestial body, but it uses these imageries so that we can relate to what he's saying. So Space Oddity is about letting go of control. The whole song is, as they say, a vibe. But the relevant parts to me about letting go of control are when he says, "This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door and I'm floating in a most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today." So we find the protagonist of this song floating in space 100,000 miles from Earth in what he calls a tin can of a spaceship. And there he is with a very thin tether between him and his old life on Earth, which gets broken, this tether, when ground control loses radio signal and Major Tom is lost in space forever, which is frightening to me, I want to remind you. But as he steps out for a spacewalk, he also loses the ability to control this reality of his. He's just floating. He's feeling very still, and he says, "I think my spaceship knows which way to go." Space Oddity is the song that I've named this sermon and this service today. And it can be taken at its surface as a warning about, not losing radio contact when you have 100,000 miles away from Earth, if you're me. But also, and perhaps more importantly, as a warning against the excesses of fame, for instance. We can easily see how David Bowie possibly identified with Major Tom. And we can see that after reaching the pinnacle of his celebrity, he might have been feeling unmoored and detached from his reference points. More broadly, though, this song can be read as a metaphor for the human condition. And while this prospect of losing touch with ground control might be frightening, I also hear hope in his words when he says, "My spaceship knows which way to go. I will end up somewhere. Things will be okay in the end, even if we don't understand it at the moment." David Bowie knew that for people to be ready to go on an interior journey, letting go is required. And complementary to Space Oddity is a song called Starman, another theological statement which again has various levels of interpretation. In my opinion, the important bit is when he says it's the chorus, there's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he think he'd blow our minds. And he's told us not to blow it because he knows it's all worthwhile. So like literal reading of this is aliens are ready to make themselves manifest. They're just waiting because we aren't ready, and they're wiser than us. The starman thinks he'd blow our minds, and he doesn't want to, because he really doesn't want us to get scared. He wants us to know more. An alien creature who is waiting in the sky is really the complement to Major Tom, because he stays out of the way respectfully and hopes the children can in the future be ready for what Star Trek calls first contact. Is this about alien? How is this song theological? Is the starman God? Well, if Space Oddity's central theme is letting go of control and flowing with the ups and downs of life, Starman moves us towards the future, towards hope, towards embracing what he says is the cosmic jive, towards the wisdom of knowing when to wait, trust, and hope. So imagination gives us science fiction and songs about space, but it is not an escape from reality. I hope you can see this. It is making up stories in the best sense of the world, in the sense that children make up stories to make sense of the world around them and around us. But imagination and creativity come in many other forms. You know, there's a story that says that Einstein was waiting at the bus stop when he figured out the theory of relativity. It might be apocryphal, but it feels like, I feel like that could be true. Imagination. And it's not just coming up with big, bold statements, songs, theories of relativity. We are also using our imagination when we let ourselves be changed by other people's ideas. When we allow a pause to enter our minds before we decide to react to something that we disagree or are unfamiliar with. Imagination brings us to liberation. And liberation theology tells us we can imagine a new humanity in a society characterized by solidarity. And I've said this before, in the same exact way. In a society characterized by solidarity, here on Earth, not in space. A number of years ago, I took my daughter to see Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman astronaut. She was in several space shuttle missions. Her story is pretty amazing because she wasn't just an astronaut, she was also a doctor, an MD. And her story after she stopped being an astronaut is just as fantastic. And when she speaks, she is such a good speaker, encouraging young minds to pursue their imagination, their desires, be they in science or in other fields. But one of the things I really remember about her talk was that she said something about space travel. She said at NASA, they go out in space to study things to make things better on Earth. To make things better on Earth. At least NASA, a few years ago, before the budget cuts, they wanted to help us here on Earth. And that, to me, is a very creative way of approaching solving scientific problems. A good way to think about space is a laboratory for things on Earth, because we still have so much to understand about our planet. And here's the deal, though. Lately, we've been hearing about space travel because the billionaires and the oligarchs who want to go to space, like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and that guy from Virgin Records, Richard Branson. They have gone to space. They want to do Mars colonization. They sent Katy Perry into space. I'm curious to think whether or not they're using their imagination. I mean, there's been a lot of buzz about Katy Perry and Oprah's friend Gayle King going into orbit-ish. Everyone seemed to cheer, although I don't know if everyone cheered. Did you guys cheer? I don't know. Obviously, I didn't cheer, but like, not everything that has to do with space exploration is a result of a healthy imagination. But yeah, I know, right? In the case of the celebrities in space, what these billionaires want to do is normalize the idea that space exploration is happening for them, and they go about it in the most extractive way possible. They don't do it to study stuff to make life better here on Earth. They want to just go to space to escape while they're exploiting people here on Earth. And since it was Jeff Bezos' Origin spaceship that put Katy Perry in space, let us remember, and since we were talking about tornadoes, let us remember that in the summer of 2021, when he himself, Jeff Bezos, went fly on his Blue Origin spaceship, a tornado hit Edwardsville, Illinois, where I live, and it destroyed one of the 2 Amazon warehouses we have, killing 6 people because the building was not up to code. Bezos was criticized a little because he posted photos of his space adventure on Instagram while people were dying exactly at the same time as people were dying. And I happened to have to drive past that road and saw the death and destruction path every day because I was going to St. Louis and that's the way to go. And while they were rebuilding the warehouse, I couldn't help but thinking about A, the other warehouse that had not been hit by the tornado, was that built to code? And B, the new warehouse that they were building, was that built to code? To put a fine point on it, Bezos spaceships exist because of the effort, if not the blood, sweat, and tears of all those who put their lives at risk every day and who may even die because of his disregard for the safety and well-being of his workers. They make him money at the rate of $308 a second. That's what they have figured out he earns, which makes for about $1 million an hour. They make him money so he can go to space to escape the climate catastrophe here on Earth and extract resources from elsewhere. At least that's what he hoped. And this is extractive behavior. This is inhumane greed, and it is not in the least imaginative. It is actually the opposite. It's like the 2025 version of Whitey on the Moon, where people pay with their life to put Whitey on Mars. But wait. Somebody might say, these billionaires always quote the same popular culture I was talking about: Star Trek, Stranger in a Strange Land, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, when they're talking about their quest for space. And didn't we just show that science fiction is a flight of the imagination? Yeah, science fiction is creative, imaginative, original, sometimes even prophetic if you're Octavia Butler, not in the sense of clairvoyant, more in the sense of speaking truth to power. But the billionaires seems to systematically miss the point of these stories. They think they are instruction manuals instead of possibilities. They only see the surface, and sometimes they even miss that. These are the same people, the same billionaire oligarchs that tell us we have to sacrifice. Like Elon simultaneously wants to go to Mars with his tech bros, and he runs the Department of Doge to take away our resources, or entitlements as he calls them, from veterans and single parents, healthcare from trans people, Social Security from the elderly and disabled. And of course, this state of things makes it easy to become desperate for those of us who are not billionaires, oligarchs, or billionaire oligarchs. When scarcity is not just a mindset, but a reality looming over us, imposed by those in power, it is extremely difficult to imagine a different way. But we are inherently creative. And so while they can try to impose a mindset of scarcity and fear and hopelessness, we have ways to fight it. One way to fight it is through practicing our imagination. And we do that through rejecting hopelessness. We practice imagination like any other spiritual practice by repetition, by reminding ourselves every day that we are capable of seeing differently. Where does our imagination come from? What makes us creative beings? Those are questions you might have at this point. Well, this is one of those big questions in life where what we believe matters. As Unitarian Universalists, of course, we have our own theologies and we don't have to agree. But when we ask these questions, it matters how we arrive at figuring out that we are indeed creative beings. So, for example, if we believe in a spirit that initiates creation, the spirit of life or God or some bigger than us entity that we could say, then we could say that since we are created creatures, we are also capable of creativity and imagination ourselves. We are created creative. But what if we don't believe in a creative principle? Or what if we're agnostic and we don't care about this? Well, it's still totally possible to think about imagination as part of our theological toolbox. Just look around. Look at natural phenomena. Look at the variety of life on Earth, even though it's diminishing, it's still various. The variety of things that we think are inanimate, like rocks and volcanoes and dust. Look at the universe. All of this inherent diversity does not necessarily require a metaphysical explanation to appreciate, to remind us that the universe is creative and the universe lets us imagine different ways of being. This allows us to build hope. And hope and imagination are two things that build on each other. If we have hope, we can imagine a different way to live, a different world. And if we can imagine something different than what we're living through, then this builds up our hope. The hope that someday the things we imagine can, in fact, become reality. When we imagine and hope in a future that is better for everybody, not just a few who have all the power and the money, we are planting seeds for that future. And maybe those seeds will bloom during our lifetime, and maybe they won't. But our collective imagination is the only thing that can water the seeds of liberation from all oppressions and tyranny. So let us keep imagining for liberation, for a future where all of us really means all of us. May it be so, and amen. And now please rise in body or spirit for our closing song, number 1074 in the hymnal, Turn the World Around. please remain lifted up as we extinguish the chalice and join in the unison reading. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Announcements.
If you have an announcement for Sunday service, please send it to office@uucqc.org by 12 noon on Thursday before the service. We have a few announcements. This afternoon, Come Let Your Soul Be Held in Song. Board member and UU singer Miriam Andrews Ullman is performing a mental wellness concert to benefit NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, at 4 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church in Davenport. Admission is free, but donations for NAMI are appreciated. Finally, let me draw your attention to the additional announcements printed on the back of your order of service.
The closing words. If, as David Bowie says, there is a starman waiting in the sky, may we possess the necessary imagination to be ready to embrace him and his friends, and may we be wise enough to know how to let our spaceship go the way it knows. Go in peace. You may be seated for the postlude, and please stay for the annual meeting that is right after this, and there's coffee over there in the back, not downstairs. Thank you.
We don't always get along. We are trying now. Thank you.